Germany depended on Russia for most of its gas. And now, in preparation for the coming winter, when he anticipates that Russia, which has recently reduced exports, may restrict or even stop supply, Germany has revealed its latest efforts to increase gas storage levels and its plans for a new gas plant, how this would be possible, and how it will affect the dynamics of the relationship between Germany and Russia. The German economy, one of the largest and most developed of the world, with a nominal GDP position of fourth in the world as of 2020. Germany ranks 7th in the world in terms of primary energy consumption. Over 75% of German primary energy consumption in 2021 came from fossil fuels, 6.2% came from nuclear energy, and 16.1% came in the form of renewable energy. Energy consumption in Germany ranks 6th in the world and the largest electricity market in Europe. The nation is the 5th largest consumer of oil in the world. In 2018, 34.3% of all energy was consumed through use oil, while 23.7% of Germany's energy was consumed through the use of gas. Almost all of Germany's oil needs are met by imports. In 2021, Russia was responsible for 34.1% of crude oil imports, followed by the states with 12.5%. Kazakhstan with 9.8% and Norway with 9.6%. Natural gas, which accounted for more than a quarter of Germany's primary energy consumption in 2021, is also the energy source that Germany imports the most. 95% of the natural gas used in Germany is imported, with around 50% being Russian gas. Exported again accounts for 55% of imports, followed by Norwegian gas at 30% and Dutch gas at 13%. As of 2022, all gas imports take place through pipelines as a result of Canadian sanctions that left pumping equipment maintained by Siemens Energy stranded in Montreal. The Russian gas exporter, state-controlled, recently reduced delivery levels through a Donto Nord Stream 1 gas flowing over the Baltic Sea to Germany. Claims they were dismissed by Germany and its allies in Europe, who claim that any technical difficulty is a cover for Moscow's retaliation against EU sanctions. As a result, gas did not turn to other adult ice to fill the NS1 supply gap and new responses. Supply reductions. European gas prices rose further last week. A cost of living problem is spreading across Europe due to rising energy prices, and central banks are able to cope without risking the region's economy falling into recession. The industry most vulnerable to reduced gas distribution, represented by the German Chemical Industry Association Vichy, claimed that the shortage of supply had not yet resulted in serious problems. The actions taken on Sunday followed a plan revealed earlier this to support Germany's energy sector and economy with aid payments or deal with the Ukraine crisis that has driven up energy prices. The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz called the country's dependence on energy Russia a mistake in Germany's economic policy and told DB that past administrations had missed the opportunity to establish alternative gas supply channels. But after the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Germany has had enough, as Russian limits on gas exports endanger Europe's largest economy. Germany has chosen to dramatically increase its use of extremely polluting coal in order to safeguard energy supplies before hell. In order to encourage companies use, the German government announced on Sunday that it would implement emergency rules that would allow coal-fired power plants that had been shut down to generate electricity to be restarted. Berlin's fear of a winter gas shortage was evident in that decision, as Western officials convinced themselves that Moscow was arming its gas exports in relation to EU sanctions after the total invasion of Ukraine. Moscow reduced the capacity of the main gas export pipeline to Germany by 60% this week by sending shockwaves across the continent. Its supply is not restored. Italy, which has also suffered a decline in Russian gas supplies, is expected to announce emergency. Meanwhile, coal was the main source of electricity in the country in the first half of 2021. Lignite is largely mined in order in the Westfalen, Saxonic and Brandenburg in the far west and east of the country due to the fact that significant volumes are burned in power plants, coal plants near mining sites to generate energy, and it is not practical to be transported coal nights for great distances. The plants are situated close to the Salante and Northern Westfalen extraction sites. Both have bituminous coal mines. Most of the bituminous coal plants, it depends on imported fuel So they are dispersed across the country. In addition to being close to mining areas, Germany is making changes to its coal power installations to make them more flexible in the face of growing demand for renewable energy. German power plants already in operation are made to be flexible. German power plants, coal-fired and natural gas combined cycle power plants achieve both load-following objectives. Has the possibility to limit the capacity of new coal-fired power plants to 2025. The reason is that unlike a combined cycle gas power plant, a coal-fired boiler uses direct combustion of the fuel to control the output, rather than a heat recovery steam generator with an upstream gas turbine. On the other hand, a new law currently being developed in Berlin would bring back 10 GB of idle coal-fired power plants for up to 2 years, increasing Germany's dependence on coal for electricity generation by up to a third. Coal by 2030, as it is significantly more carbon-intensive than gas, is at odds with Germany's climate strategy due to the Russian president's war of aggression against Ukraine. The tense situation and high prices are inevitable, according to the Rabeck, member of the Green Party who has been campaigning for a faster exit from coal with intensive use of carbon, and he goes on to say, and more is obviously Putin's strategy to make us safe, to raise prices and divide us. We are not going to let it go happens. We will fight decisively, accurately and thoughtfully. The economy ministry says bringing back coal-fired power plants to blends could add up to 10 GB of capacity in the event of a critical gas supply situation. Yet a corresponding law would go to the upper house of parliament on 8. This is painful, but it is an absolute necessity in this situation to reduce the gas consumption of but if we don't, we run the risk that the storage facilities will not be full enough towards the end of the year, towards the winter season, so we are politically blackmailable. When questioned, Rabeck replied that it was top priority and that it would be a tremendous squeeze in winter without expected sufficient supply. The 3 nuclear power reactors survivors in Germany have a combined capacity of 4 GB, are scheduled to shut down by the end of this year. The government has determined that the technological and safety requirements are too high, so its useful life will not be extended. Germany intends to reduce normal consumption by about a fifth without resorting to rationing, and at the same time increase the supply of Norwegian gas pipelines and LNG imports. Increasing reliance on coal-fired power plants would be one of the new policies in the system. Villain to encourage the industry to reduce consumption would also start in the coming weeks through the state creator KfW. The German gas market operator will receive €15 billion, $15.8 billion in credit lines to fill facilities faster, according to Rabeck. The ministry that is in charge of ensuring the security of energy supply in Europe's largest economy would take additional precautions depending on the situation, on condition of anonymity. 2 sources with knowledge of the situation said this could involve the start of the second phase of Germany's gas emergency plan, would allow utilities to pass on high gas prices to their customers in the second phase, and starts when there is a high risk of long-term supply shortages. Germany prioritized filling gas storage tanks that can be used in winter and plans to set up 4 floating LNG. They are currently 56% full, and Economy Minister Robert wants them to be 90% full by the end of the year. Recommends building a series of small units across the country even as more nuclear plants are closed by December 2022. Grid operators and other experts believe existing reserves and planned European interconnections will provide enough gas capacity to meet Germany's demand. May need more gas power generation capacity as it branches into renewable energy and progressively eliminates coal and nuclear power. This capacity as additional gas would be utilized in high demand with little wind sunlight and would not necessarily result in the increase in general gas consumption. Let's know what you think about this situation in the comment section below.